That girl had secret nightmares. Some so vivid she wasn't sure if they were real or not, and either way it terrified her. Like now terrifies those who did her wrong, like a wand of energy coming back to life to make her story known. She would awaken screaming, and there was no further sleep to be had that night, even though she'd already been up all night the last 5 nights in a row. The whole lodge full of guests, one and all. Did she want us all to one day know how that felt? As her way of paying it forward to the next crop of kids just behind her, trudging lost trails, leading them to places like Ananda Village nearby. To become part of their machine, she woke up every day in the villages around Tahoe, where people are known to ask way too much of their children. Woke up every day where the majority rules, and when it comes to creating robots to the sex trade, those in that cult have that masquerade down pat. They know what to do and start from an early age, getting their child accustomed to and ready for a life where they'd whirl without thinking into a customer's room. She woke up every day in the hotbed of the teen sex trade in towns known to have a bumper new crop every year. Towns where people have mostly always earned their livings acting in such ways. The Kiely Rodni story starts there, in a red light district, surrounded by granite and lodgepole pine trees. It starts when she was 2 years old, still in diapers, and learning to play the violin. She hated that effing violin. Her experience starts then, being handled by and accustomed to strangers always around her with potentially sinister intent. Her daily experience, where she'd open her eyes each day in a land where they taught kids how to become accustomed to being subservient to the grabbing hands of the tourist trade, where they become servants through training and by examples set by the other people following long-lost trails full of weathered footsteps. Frozen in place every winter for the duration, but it never stopped them from coming. Those people who line up months in advance to vacation in Tahoe's finest B&Bs. That endless stream of persons coming into contact with those kids. Kiely wanted to give the other kids in town hope. She knew that one day there had to be a reckoning coming to her community's elders. A reckoning where those kids all want a few rounds, knowing deep down inside that they aren't getting away with it this time. Not this time. Not if all of us keep digging and making sure it does not fade away. It's just got to be that way. She gave her townspeople hope that we'd all catch the right glimpse of her, even when she was mired in abject despair because revenge and the shifting of the balance towards good instead of evil was so important to her. So important to her that those thoughts fell away from her, her eyes transmitting what lie deep inside of her hindered soul. A sad and painful despair that it has always been this way in Truckee, California, and has been since the donnerparty, affecting all who live there and most of those that live nearby. Her despair at knowing there's not Jack Diddley Boo, that she could do anything about it without her story going viral in the news media, enough to catch everyone's attention, enough to somehow get the talking started. And here we are. She knew that the only way to free her Beslows full of teenage counterparts was to shine a bright enough light that society would conduct an in-depth examination of the foundations of her community in her wake. It was the only way to free her counterparts in the trades from their shackled feet and heavy chains. Only then. So she left willingly, perhaps, and not without certain assurances nor consequences. She may have walked straight into the den of evil with a mindset of never coming back again, magnifying with her own plight the plights of her community. On a hot August night, it feels right to say that she carried within her the blood of the Magdalene, a fabled strain of blood with powerful properties, much like the fabled fountain of youth. A Magdalene child's blood being worth more than the totality of their lives, perhaps to those that are in control of those kids' fates. We won't forget about her. We simply can't stop thinking about her and what she and her 2 teen friends tried to do. Where the Kiely Rodni story ends hasn't yet become clear, but where she came from glows so brightly inside. Inside of her back then, and through the actions of an entire community inside of all of us now. Like a message paid forward while we were all sleeping merely by carefully listening to and paying minute attention to the sounds of silence that breathe eloquently without any words inside of us all. That's just the tip of the iceberg. I think we'll all find in the end. Thank you for keeping her story out there, and please keep the talking going. For Kiely,